You might think AI is just about convenience, but it's really about control. And let's be honest, if AI could make coffee, I'd let it control my mornings too. Imagine that. The same systems that learn your coffee preferences are learning how to manage power grids, transportation networks, and healthcare systems. Next thing you know, your toaster will be running for mayor. Can you believe it? We're building a world where algorithms make decisions about everything from your daily routine to your medical care. And most people don't realize how much power we're handing over. If only algorithms could decide what to have for dinner, right? Picture this. Your phone suggests the best route before you've even thought about directions. It's like having a psychic in your pocket minus the crystal ball. That's the invisible concierge at work. No tip required, but maybe a software update. On the surface, digital assistants seem to just respond when you give a command. But behind the scenes, they're quietly tracking your routines, learning the daily rhythms that shape your life. Somewhere, a smart fridge is judging your midnight snack choices. Yikes. Navigation apps don't simply show you a map. They pull in live traffic updates, combine that with past patterns, and generate routes that adapt on the fly. If only they could help me avoid awkward small talk with neighbors. Every time you rely on them, you're adding to a pool of usage data that trains the system to predict better for everyone. So congratulations, you're officially a data donor. No sticker though, but hey, it's still cool. The same goes for your smart speakers and home devices. They register when you wake, when you leave, what you watch, and the comfort levels you prefer. If your thermostat starts recommending sweaters, you know it's gotten too smart. Over time, these usage signals sketch out a model of your habits. It's like having a digital twin, but with fewer bad hair days. Researchers and health platforms are extending this approach into wearables and remote monitoring. Soon, your watch will know you better than your best friend. These devices establish personal baselines, things like heart rate, sleep, or oxygen levels, and flag small deviations that you'd probably never notice on your own. It's like having a tiny doctor on your wrist, but with less handwriting. That's the invisible concierge slipping into health, not just home convenience. Next up, AI-powered chicken soup recipes. The result feels effortless, almost magical. Lights turn on when you enter a room. Playlists shift to suit your mood. Your smartwatch alerts you with patterns you hadn't spotted. If only it could find my missing socks. But here's the real surprise. This so-called magic isn't intuition at all. It's just data and algorithms analyzing your history until they can predict your next move. Spoiler alert, your next move is probably checking your phone again. And here's where things tilt. The same pattern recognition that learns your morning habits can be adapted to run bigger systems. Imagine if your snooze button could control the city lights. Energy grids, traffic flow, even the early stages of disaster response already borrow ideas tested first on your phone and watch. So if your city ever gets stuck in traffic, blame your GPS. What if those tiny conveniences are training the systems that run your city? Suddenly, your coffee order is a matter of public infrastructure. The invisible concierge isn't just a personal butler, it's a testing ground. And unlike my butler, it never takes a day off. Each interaction sharpens the tools that will eventually coordinate whole networks, not just your schedule. So if your calendar starts running the subway, don't be surprised. And once those networks move from predicting your commute to predicting your care, the stakes rise dramatically. Suddenly missing the bus is the least of your worries. Now think about what happens when the same predictive tools start working inside the hospital instead of just your home. Medical AI isn't limited to scheduling reminders. It can scan images, flag patterns too subtle for the human eye, and do it at remarkable speed. In research studies, models trained on diagnostic data achieved sensitivity near 91%, specificity around 94%, and overall accuracy of about 93%, with an AUC score just over 0.92. That means in controlled tests, these systems aren't just keeping up with experts, they're edging close to matching their performance. One study focused on oral cancer cases gives a concrete example. Researchers trained an AI model on over 1,200 patient records and found that it could identify atypical tumors, such as oral melanoma, with about 92% accuracy. In one instance, the system's early detection supported a treatment plan that completely responded to therapy. That's not abstract potential, That's a real patient whose outcome was changed because an algorithm caught what human eyes might have missed. Hospitals are also applying predictive models beyond diagnosis. Some software systems compare your medical data against large sets of previous cases to forecast likely outcomes and suggest treatment paths. One model even produced treatment plans that aligned with oncologist consensus roughly 85% of the time. Imagine a piece of software handing doctors a plan that most of the time matches what experts would decide. Personal monitoring is shifting this to everyday use as well. Wearable devices consistently track heart rate, sleep, and stress levels, building a baseline over time. With systems like Provention, even small deviations from your norm can trigger alerts before you're aware of symptoms yourself. That puts the first line of diagnosis right on your wrist. Would you trust a machine as your first medical opinion? Tell me below. But these advances raise thorny questions. If an AI misses a tumor or misclassifies a scan, who takes responsibility? The approving doctor, the hospital that implemented the system, or the developers who built it? The answer isn't simple, and that uncertainty is part of the dilemma as technology takes on bigger roles in care. Because once algorithms start influencing critical personal decisions like treatment, it's only a step further to them shaping the systems that structure your daily environment on a much larger scale. Picture the city around you starting to think like one big system. Instead of just managing phones or watches, automation expands into traffic, power, and public safety. That's the idea behind the automated city, using similar pattern recognition tools that once mapped your personal habits to coordinate the flow of entire urban environments. Transportation is a clear example. Cities are experimenting with connected vehicles and smarter signals that could reduce jams and reroute traffic in real time. In theory, cars and lights could share information, adjusting patterns faster than any human traffic controller. It's not a science fiction skyline. It's a direction urban planners are actively testing out. Energy networks show a similar trend. Utility companies already study consumption spikes, and adding algorithmic forecasting could let them shift supply automatically, protecting hospitals or critical sites during emergencies. Instead of waiting for equipment to fail, software could predict weak points ahead of time. It's the same predictive idea as your smartwatch, just applied to power grids. Public safety technologies push the conversation further. Crowd monitoring and behavior analysis might be used to read movement patterns and identify risks before they escalate. The potential efficiency is obvious, but so are the questions. Who decides the threshold for a risk? And how do you know if bias is hiding in the code? Here's the real tension. As these systems scale, the benefits come bundled with risks. If a centralized algorithm fails, the impact can cascade across services, an echo of the earlier healthcare concern where a single misdiagnosis had sweeping consequences. But here the scope is thousands or even millions of people affected at once. Efficiency sounds appealing until you think about what's traded away. Would you prefer speed and optimization if it means outsourcing tough trade-offs like resource allocation or emergency priorities to lines of code? The more decisions shift into automated hands, the less transparent these choices become. Bias, accountability, and public trust all get tangled together. What's emerging is the blueprint for AI-managed cities, where everything from buses to power lines could run on predictive rules. The pattern is clear. Local, personal decisions already test the methods that are now being scaled up, and that sets the stage for a bigger question about how far we let algorithms shape critical infrastructure. AI has already slipped into your daily tools, quietly powering everything from navigation apps to voice assistants. What feels like small convenience is actually the testing ground for bigger decisions. Now it's moving into healthcare, where research models report around 93% diagnostic accuracy and about 85% alignment with expert treatment recommendations. That's serious capability, and it shows how high the stakes are once algorithms touch real lives. We need clear rules and accountable oversight before these systems become irreversible. It's not about stopping AI, it's about designing it so it serves people. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Would you trust AI with your first medical assessment? Why or why not?